Don Herring, owner of Herring Mitsubishi and chairman of the North Texas Auto Dealers Association. Thank you so much and welcome back to Eye on Politics.
Well, thank you for the invitation, Jack. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. So thank you for having us. And we interviewed you last year at this time after President Trump announced his tariff program.
We watched the announcement together.
Yes, we did. And so I'm back because I wanted to find out 1 year later, how did your year go? How did the tariffs impact your business?
My business here in this particular store, we saw used car sales go, and I looked at this the year leading up, so from from April of 2024 through March 31st of 2025, the year before the tariffs, we sold 49% of our cars were used cars and 51% were new cars. In the year since we spoke, so April of 2025 through this past 31st, we sold 74% used cars.
Wow.
Which shows an increase in used cars and clearly a decrease in new cars. So our balance is swapped a little bit.
That is a huge difference.
It is a huge difference, and I'm not going to say that everyone's had that exact same difference as we have. Mitsubishi's also discontinued the Mirage G4, which was a car that we had. So there's some of that in play, but there is no doubt that tariffs had an impact as automobile prices have gone up. And the factories have worked really hard in 2026 to find ways to help mitigate that, and affordability is the big word of the day in the automotive industry today.
So even among automakers, affordability is a key issue.
Affordability is a key issue. We've seen Mitsubishi come out with products that's decontented, that has less content than the products they had pre-tariff, but the prices are in line with what the products they had pre-tariff.
So give me an example.
So for example, our Outlander Sport pre-tariff had about a $25,000 price range. After the tariffs hit, they increased the price, they increased the destination, and we saw that price of that car go up a couple of $1,000s. They came out with a new Outlander Sport S model, which gets rid of the 18-inch alloy wheels, puts some 16-inch steel wheels and hubcaps like a lot of people remember. But now it's got a $24,995 price tag again. So you lose the alloy wheels, but the price is what that car was before the tariff.
And what model was that?
That's the Outlander Sport S model.
Okay. And then you had another vehicle.
And then we have the Outlander LE model, which looks a lot like and has a lot of the same equipment as the pre-tariff Outlander Black Edition. And they cost exactly the same. The difference is this Outlander LE model doesn't have Mitsubishi's My Pilot Assist, which is their adaptive cruise control system. It has a standard traditional type cruise control.
And so it's almost more like a, you're giving people a choice. Hey, you don't want to spend as much, here's the option. And have customers noticed, and have they chosen the cheaper options?
And the Outlander Sport, which is the less expensive of the two cars, we've seen people choosing the less expensive option. They seem to be more conscious about price than what wheels are on the car. We're probably still selling more of the higher model Outlanders than we are the new Outlander LE. But the factories, and it's not just Mitsubishi, all the factories are really focused on affordability. And whether that's rebates, whether that's subvented interest rates, whether that's new decontented models like Mitsubishi's doing, a lot of other manufacturers are also coming out with lower models that have a little bit less spec so they can keep the prices similar to what we had pre-tariff.
So I want to go back to what you said about used cars and the fact that here in this Irving showroom, you went from 49% used vehicles to over 70%?
That is correct, up to 74%.
74,
used.
so almost 3 out of 4 vehicles you sell are used.
That is correct.
And so now, how did that happen? I mean, was this a decision by customers, or was this something that you encouraged? In other words, you brought in more used vehicles.
We certainly encourage that. I got with my used car director and said we need to get the inventory level up to 70 units in both stores so that we can sell enough used cars to where no matter what happens with tariffs or new car sales, we can still sell enough vehicles to be profitable.
And so does that mean, because I remember we talked last year, you said, don't be surprised if, people who own vehicles, that they start getting phone calls from their car dealers. Have you been doing that? Have you been calling your customers saying, hey?
Definitely.
Really?
Definitely. We did find limitations. So I've got a business development center, and these guys help set appointments. They take incoming phone calls, they take incoming emails, but they also make phone calls to previous customers. And we've been calling through the years, and they got a little over anxious. They started calling people who just bought new cars a year ago. It's like, well, hold on, guys. We don't want to get them too new. We want to give them a little bit of chance to enjoy their vehicles.
Yeah. And so, but I mean, are you offering incentives to these customers? In other words, paying a little more than you normally would to try to get them to bring their car in?
Oh, there is no doubt. We've seen the used car market actually move up, because as new cars have gotten more expensive, more people move to used cars, and as demand for used cars increases, then of course price increases too.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to my used car director this morning. He was at auction, and he was going over all these cars he was looking at. He's like, well, this one went for $2,400 above the market. This one went for $2,000 above the market. And this one went for $3,000 above the market. So we're seeing, even at the auctions, as these cars are going for above market there, then I can certainly offer my customers above market for their cars, because the market's going up. And while it's going up, hopefully it won't go up as high as it did during the pandemic, but we are seeing some similar patterns. As new car prices go up, used car prices follow.
And let me ask you, because obviously people were concerned last year, well, what's the impact going to be on the jobs at these car dealerships who are impacted by the tariffs? What happened in this case? Were your employees impacted, or were you able to hold the line on jobs?
We were able to hold the line on jobs. We did not reduce our staff at all.
And is that because you were able to sell more used cars?
That's definitely a huge part of it, because used cars supplanted the income we were making off new cars previously.
And what is the benefit for you to sell a used car over a new car?
The benefit is it's less expensive for the customer. We can go out and buy whatever car we want to buy. And if you look at my used car lot, you'll see everything from Range Rovers to Chevrolets to Cadillacs to BMW to pretty much anything. Mm-hmm. Where new cars, I'm limited to just Mitsubishis.
And what about Mitsubishi? What are its plans for the time being, for the foreseeable future, as far as products are concerned, as far as how tariffs are impacting what products make it to the United States?
Well, Mitsubishi builds all their products in Japan, and their current plan is to continue building all their products in Japan. And we believe that there's value in that, because the Japanese build a very high quality, very reliable product. I was saying some of their timing is a little bit off. They did a wonderful job reacting to the tariffs, coming out with these new lower price models. But at the same time, this summer we're coming out with a battery electric vehicle, just as the battery electric vehicle money has gone away this past year.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes this planning takes years. And so they plan for something, and here we go. And they got a little bit blindsided by the EV money going away, but they are still planning on coming out with that vehicle. And we still have a larger vehicle they're planning on coming out with in 2027, which will be a larger, more expensive vehicle.
Than what you have now.
Than what we have now.
What's that going to be?
We believe it will be called the Montero. It will be larger than our Outlander.
An old nameplate.
Yes. You got to make use of what you have equity in.
Yeah.
But it'll have a third row where it can sit 7 people comfortably. Our Outlander has a third row, but the third row is a little bit snug, because it's a compact crossover.
And I wanted to ask you just about, because they raised their prices in tariffs. They had no choice, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And how did customers deal with that?
They raised their prices, and they raised destination charge. So it was kind of a double hit.
And did customers, obviously your used car sales went up, so customers made a decision that way, right?
Customers made a decision to go towards the used cars that we had to offer. We did see a significant decrease in new cars, which is the percentages tell the whole story. But
and are you are alone in this, or how has this impacted your auto dealers here in North Texas?
We are not alone in this. My percentages may be higher than other car dealers, mainly because we're smaller and we got Mitsubishi discontinued 2 affordable units. So it probably made it a larger percentage swing for me than for a classic Chevrolet or another manufacturer. But we are seeing that manufacturers everywhere are working hard on affordability. They're working hard on, you're seeing rebates, you're seeing submitted interest rates, seeing lower price cars, and still with all that, we're seeing more used cars being sold.
Wow. And are you offering the same lower rates as far as interest rates that the Mitsubishi is offering? Because their lowest is what?
Mitsubishi currently offers 2.99% for up to 60 months on the Outlander through Santander Financial, which is Mitsubishi's captive lender. And they buy that down because clearly 2.9 is lower than what the prime rate is. Mm-hmm. When we were clearing out the 2025 product, they got down to 0% for up to 72 months.
Wow, that's cheap.
That is very cheap. So it really helps when you're talking about the interest rates being 6, 7, 8%. It really helps eat away at a lot of that increase in price.
I asked you this question last year. What's your message to President Trump about tariffs?
I truly wish the president would back off the tariffs. I wish the president would let the market do what the free market does. I believe in the free market. I believe that these markets will find equilibrium that's the best for our economy. And when you do things like put in false floors or false ceilings or other government interventions such as these tariffs, it hurts the markets in the long run.
All right. Don Herring, owner of Herring Mitsubishi and chairman of the North Texas Auto Dealers Association. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate it.